Hi everyone, Maggie here. I hope everybody is doing okay. I know we're all just coming off of COVID, and these protests and riots in the world feels like a completely different place than it was back in the beginning of 2020 when we were all thinking we were going to get our lives together. So I just hope that everybody has enough money for food, for rent, you're surrounded by people that love you and build you up, and that you're safe. I wanted to make this video to address some of the accusations and hate I've gotten online lately for some opinions I've expressed on my Facebook and Instagram. I first want to talk about the medium that we're using to communicate right now. And that is our phones, our laptops, our iPads, cameras, microphones. All right, this says blood on your headset. Our phones have minerals in them, they have chemicals in them in the hundreds. And all of these chemicals and minerals have supply chains, and these supply chains are harming people. I was in the Congo last year and learned that in the Congo, kids are mining and adults are mining for coltan, which is a mineral that is in all of our technology. So if we're gonna go deep enough, okay, into what is racist, let's talk about our technology first. Okay, so we're using these death machines to communicate with each other with, to communicate with. We're using these death machines, and there's, you know, if you're a spiritual person or if you think in the unseen world, maybe that's affecting us somehow. We're not face to face anymore. I would be willing to bet if I could get face to face with any of these people that have been saying these things about me online, that we could probably solve it with a simple conversation, but we don't live in that world anymore. Also, we're separated right now because of COVID. So just keep that in mind when you're using your technology. Excuse me. But I don't have any other choice right now to make this video using a microphone, a laptop, a phone, and a camera. So I'm a hypocrite, okay? I'm using blood, people's blood, to communicate. Okay, I'm gonna get into this. What was said and what I think about it. As if anybody needs anybody else's opinion, okay? I'm annoying myself at this point. But I felt like it needed to be said because I lost an entire group of friends in Buffalo, New York that I've known for years. I lost a friend of a decade, and I lost most of the animal rights connections that I've been building up for years. So something needs to be said about it. This person who is a vegan drag queen said these things about me online. Okay, and she said, Veggie Pride Parade used to hold a special place in my heart, and it's organized by a COVID denier, anti-Black Lives Matter, Tucker Carlson loving, Ben Shapiro sharing, police apologist vegan who wonders, did anyone ask that police officer why he killed George Floyd? Okay, that was the post that got me the hate mail, that got my friends to stop talking about me. They got my friends to start talking about me, and basically ostracized me from an event I planned called the Veggie Pride Parade that happens in New York City every year. Now this event, let me just give you some background. First of all, I don't make any money on this event. It is like a labor of love, and it's a pain in the ass to create. I was handed this event years ago from Pamela Rice, who started it back in 2009. And you got to coordinate with a lot of people. The Parks Department, the Police Department, there's tons of paperwork. Then you got to deal with all the speakers, finding speakers, creating a website, doing bios for them, figuring out the rentals of all of the chairs and tables and stages, and then the exhibitors, and then there's paperwork on top of that for if exhibitors want to sell something, okay? And we give it to people for free, okay? That's background on this Veggie Pride Parade, which I didn't name, by the way. I know people have a problem with the name, okay? Because social justice warriors, you have a problem with everything. Okay, so we do this parade in New York. It gets hundreds of people. The families come out. There's face painting for kids. They dress like strawberries and bananas and stuff. There's a costume contest. And they learn about veganism. They learn about eating well. And they get to see smiley faces of people. Okay, it's not a march. It's not a march, which there are places for them, but marches don't necessarily include people that aren't vegan. They might not feel like they can come out to a march because they're not there yet. And everybody there is really intense. I've been to marches, okay? So it's a different audience that we've created over 12 years for this. So we have the Veggie Pride Parade in New York City, and the vegans are now accusing me of being racist and being a COVID denier, harassing COVID families, and one lawyer, Jay Schuster, I'm going to actually say your name because you shouldn't even be a lawyer. I don't know how you can have this kind of behavior. You were one of my speakers. And on this post that this person wrote, Jay accused me of discriminating against speakers at our event. Jay, we want to have Black people involved. We can't get enough Black leaders to come and be involved. I invited the leader of the Black Veg Fest. He canceled on me like 10 minutes before the event was supposed to start. So what am I supposed to do? If anyone asked me a couple of months ago, would I be reposting Fox News videos on my Facebook, I would have laughed in your face. I grew up with a Republican family, and they used to watch Fox News, and I rolled my eyes. I became a Democrat in my early 20s and most of my 30s, and then I woke up to what was happening. Okay? I don't want to get into politics here because people that are reading this are either going to figure it out or they're not. There's enough information on the internet. If you want to look for it, you can. Or if you want to just believe the headlines of the mainstream media, I know we're all sick of that term, but you can do that too. I don't give a flip. I think we need to open up our hearts and realize nobody's experience is your own, and you don't know anybody else's life. You don't know anybody else's experience. I got called racist. A one-word blanket statement defaming my character when you don't even know who I am. It's disgusting. Your behavior, it's rude, it's childish, it's divisive, and it's got to stop. There is no room for this kind of behavior. I'm going to just call them the left and the social justice warriors. You know why? Because you have infiltrated, okay, to use a stupid term that I don't even want to use, but you've infiltrated good movements. Have your intersectionalism and be pointing fingers at everybody else, but there's no room for it in the vegan movement. It's going to kill the movement. If we have to create our own fucking movement that's not that movement, then we will. I don't want to do that. I want us all to be together, but you guys cannot be reasoned with. Facebook is all we have right now to communicate in a bigger conversation. It's a cesspool of toxicity, and I hate it. I'm on it too much. I thought of just getting off, but I like interacting with people and hearing what others are thinking. But when this side, this left side, these social justice warriors want to police the way we think, tell us what to say, how to feel, who we are, it's not right. There's free speech in America, okay? That's why we love this country. Have you ever been to another country where there's not free speech? It sucks. It's awful. Okay, we don't want to lose that. It's a slippery slope.
So we're going to do a little Christmas song for you. Why? Because I have a shortage of material, and you have to deal with that. That's my beauty tip for you. Try to see my point of view. It's the Holy Grail. Maybe all I want for Christmas is kale. Kale, baby.
So we've got this person that has been the entertainer for the Veggie Pride Parade in the past. I've hired this person for more money, $400, than I pay anybody. Okay, nobody gets paid but the sound guy, and then a few of the camera people might get a tip. So I gave this person $400 more than anybody else has made, and they've dragged my name through the mud. I'm just like giving you context for the relationship and the relationship between this person and the Veggie Pride Parade. You know, this year I didn't invite them back before it was canceled because they were so pouty and crabby the entire time. I was disgusted. I didn't even, bad energy. I don't like saying stuff like that because some people don't even think in terms of energy, but I was grossed out. So I have this person I'm grossed out with. It's fine because there's a lot of people that, just you're not vibing with. Well, we should just stay away from each other then. So let's go down here, see what they say. Okay, Veggie Pride Parade used to hold a special place in my heart. It was literally the first time I decided to get myself in drag and go out in public to be part of something. Okay, great. We made an impact on you. I'll get right to the point. Say what you will about the parade. It's organized by a COVID denier, anti-Black Lives Matter, Tucker Carlson loving, Ben Shapiro sharing, police apologist vegan who wonders, did anyone ever ask that police officer why he killed George Floyd? Why do we just assume it was based on race? You know, if I'm looking at myself, when I have an argument with somebody or there's something wrong, it's not because of the person's skin, it's because of their behavior toward me. So I just asked this in a post. You can go to my Facebook page if you want to see the whole wording of it, but that was basically the gist of it. Okay, I reposted this on my page. I always post hate mail. I just, honestly, it's funny to me. It's funny that people are this crazy. Okay, it's unfortunate, but like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? Why are you hating on people for having opinions that are different than yours? So I posted some videos from Fox News that you consider the crazy alt-right, and Ben Shapiro, who talks a lot about First Amendment rights. I asked a few questions about, was this racially motivated? I'm sorry. The cop was white, the guy was black. It's not always going to be racially motivated. I know you want to hear that, but it could have been because they knew each other and they had some other kind of beef. It might not have had anything to do with his skin color. You guys assumed that. That's racist. When you assume something about a group of people because of the color of their skin, that's racist. And you're all out there calling us racist? It's disgusting. It's not a light word to throw around. And you're doing it to people in the movement that have been trying to progress things for animals. You're kicking them out of their own events. Veggie Pride Parade was a wonderful place for people to learn about vegan eating. And now you want to take it down? It's canceled. This post says Veggie Pride in all caps is canceled. Really? You want to cancel an event of your own movement? This person, and you can look online, said anyone who is anyone will not be going to your event. I'm sorry, that's what the vegan movement has become about. It's a bunch of bullies in high school that never got over having to be in the in crowd. Anyone who's anyone will not go there. I mean, you go to these veg fests and these animal rights conferences, and it's just cringeworthy. These people walk around like they're Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, like the vegan celebrities. It's disgusting. I want nothing to do with it. On the Instagram, let's look up honey. Okay, this is this person. There's my picture here. Let's see. Okay, 221 likes. The hashtags are expose racism, expose white supremacy. I'm sorry, I didn't know that people that watch Fox are white supremacists. Veggie Pride Parade. Okay, so this person, Jeff. I have had experience with Maggie. I remember Jeff. She's also a Trump supporter and worked on the Humane Party's platform. I met her when I was with you, honey, at Animal Rights 2017. If you don't vote for one and you vote for the other, all of a sudden you are labeled a Trump supporter. Well, listen, I have news for you small-minded, short-sighted people that don't understand that anything is complex in life. Just because you vote for somebody doesn't mean you agree with everything they do. Obviously, Trump isn't a vegan. Maybe if you guys were a little nicer to him and tried to approach the White House with constructive, positive recommendations, maybe if you made a suggestion that all of their diplomat meals be able for everybody to eat, because I know a lot of people are kosher and they have different diets, so maybe like some constructive ways of talking to people. But you guys are so hateful and rude, like who's gonna talk to you anyway? Not that you would even like it if Trump went vegan. You'd be like, he doesn't deserve to be vegan. You'd still want to burn him at the stake. Because I'm going to vote for Trump in the election, I'm all of a sudden a bad person. And that is very dangerous for people in the vegan movement, in any movement, anywhere, to be declaring. Because we have two choices. If there was a vegan candidate that had other viewpoints that I agreed with, that I thought were good for the country, I would vote for them. We have two choices, okay, people? Supporter does not mean I agree with everything you say. I don't even know why I have to say this stuff. It's like your brains didn't form properly or something. Like the neurons didn't form that let you understand that multiple truths can exist at the same time. You know, I wrote to Trump the first year I took over Veggie Pride Parade, and I got a response back. And I asked him to come to the parade. And I posted the response back on Instagram. I had to take it off because I got such hate. Like, why wouldn't you want the president, who's the face of the nation, to know a little bit more about veganism? You don't really care that people go vegan. You care about looking good and being right. I did work with the Humane Party, which is a vegan political party. I worked for them for years for free because I believed that we needed a third party that was vegan. But you know what? Nobody helped, okay? None of the vegans wanted to even participate. It's really hard to get a new political party off the ground when your own people aren't helping you. So I decided to take my time and put it into reality, which is the fact that there's two presidential candidates. There's two parties. So that was my choice. She blocked me after I checked her on making fun of COVID-19 and BLM protesters. Okay, I can't help the fact that this person thinks that they were checking me and I was upset about that and I was making fun of people. That's how you took what I said, but I was probably questioning the fact that just 2 weeks ago, people weren't allowed to go to their own loved ones' funerals. And we couldn't even protest keeping the state open because people are hungry and wanted to go out and make money again so they can support their families. And they were being demonized in the media. And then all of a sudden, these riots and protests for BLM is okay. I think I made a post like that, but this person thinks they checked me and I was making fun of those protesters. Either you automatically go to the fact that I'm making fun of somebody versus I'm asking questions. Do we live in that kind of culture that you can't even bring any kind of ideas or thoughts up without people thinking that you're being an asshole? That's why I'm disconnecting from the vegan community, because they represent what I don't stand for. Okay, veganism is about the animals. It shouldn't be political. Get politics out of veganism, all right? You guys preach tolerance, but you're not tolerant of anybody that has a political belief that's different than yours and doesn't act in the way that you think they should. And then you call them names, publicly shame them. This is why they call it the silent majority that's out there, because they have to be silent. Because you guys are out to destroy them. That is the opposite of tolerance. That's the opposite of love. This is Vegan Street Fair. So fuck you, Vegan Street Fair. Okay, you're an organization, all right, that's supposed to be inclusive of all, but what, you only want Democrats at your event? Good, I hope only Democrats go and you cut your numbers in half. Oh, you'd lose money that way, wouldn't you? Oh, you like money. What the fuck? All caps. This is shameful to the core. Thanks for letting us know. If we see these racist Trump supporters at our event, we're gonna kick them out. Okay, sorry. I don't even want to waste time on that. I didn't want to go to your stupid event anyway. It's just a bunch of people shoving vegan food in their faces and feeling good about themselves and not even thinking about all the resources it took to get all that shit there. This upsets me. Anyone advocating for animal rights must know that humans deserve rights too. regardless of their gender, color, or any other physical or mental identification. Oh, really? Mental identification? So what if I don't identify with the same person you're voting for? You don't discriminate against people like that, right? And who even said that we don't think they deserve rights too? What are you talking about? They automatically go to this place where people are just trying to be harmful and divisive and manipulative. Yeah, I know, I get it. We're born into this world and it's really hard, and I have no idea the kind of childhoods these people went through, the bullying, the confusion of just being alive in a body. I feel for you. But for the most part, let's give people the benefit of the doubt that they're not trying to do malicious things because they feel differently than you do politically. That's what they want us to believe. They, meaning whoever's in charge at the very top. It's like, let's throw a problem out there and everybody's going to fight about it. And then here's a solution, and then everybody's going to fight about it. We have 2 political parties in the U.S. And, I tried to change that with the beginning of a 3rd party, but that was practically impossible. So if anybody else can offer another solution other than let's come together and be nice to each other and be more unified within the current framework that we have, maybe some stuff's going to actually get accomplished for the animals and for the laws. I love how people think that they can just take things away from you and they can oust the leaders, this cancel culture, because they have decided in their own minds, in the own fantasy space, in their own minds that you're a racist. They want to take this away from you. They posted pictures of my company's website. They're looking into the tax identification filings of the event to try to shut it down. What's wrong with you people? He's doesn't give a fuck about the LGBTQ community. All these things aren't true. Gross energy on her part. Okay, let's go to this person's page. That's some big time gross energy on her part. Okay, let's see what kind of energy you have, person. Becky Freckley. Let's check out her page. Oh, okay. So we got some vegan food. That's cool. Cute. Oh, okay. Let's check this out. I'm going to turn up my volume here. Let's see what this is. So maybe you can see Becky's on this side. There's a person here, and it says, if you're a white ally, raise your fist to show you stand in solidarity with POC. Okay, let's watch this.
If you're a white ally, raise your fist to show that you stand in solidarity with people of color. We need to see how many of you are truly with us. Restore my faith in humanity, please. It's good to know that although you aren't personally affected, you still stand with those who are. Black Lives Matter. If you're a white ally.
Okay, so if you don't raise your fist and restore this person's faith in humanity, then you're not with us. Okay. I'm at a loss for words. Jesus criminy truly gives vegans a bad name. She's no vegan because vegans care about all lives. Oh my God, did you say all lives? And the black community. Good thing we put all lives separate than the black community. She's a plant-based eater. She doesn't even care about other living beings. Although Maggie is pure trash. If I had a penny for every person that called me trash, it's the word that they really like to use. Although Maggie is pure trash, she holds no place in the community. So although she's pure trash, she holds no place in the community. Not really sure how those two connect. Some wonderful people as well as myself identify as vegan dumpster fires. And then he tagged this person, Allie, who runs this company or nonprofit, I guess, called Voters for Animal Rights, who called me a racist, even though I did videos for her group for free. And the thing is, this is what's dangerous about this. there's these organizations like Voters for Animal Rights that on the surface seem like they're doing a really good thing. They're promoting candidates that are vegan and have great animal policies, but they're not promoting any other candidate other than Democrats. I think there should just be transparency with these organizations. So if you call yourself Voters for Animal Rights, but you only support the Democrats, then that's a partisan group. Okay, so it's like taking, just like Black Lives Matters did, it's like taking a good cause, naming it that good cause, but then you only support any group that is left. Veggie Pride was always so bizarrely depoliticized that it doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, it's depoliticized because we want politics out of veganism purposely, okay? It was supposed to be a friendly event that's all-inclusive. I'm sorry, I didn't know that the Democrats and the left people automatically own veganism. Just like I didn't know the Democrats and the left people automatically own the fact that Black Lives Matter. I don't understand how I have to talk about something to show my support. I just am the support. You don't know anything about my life. You don't know how many black friends I have, how many black guys I've dated, how many black people I've been around. Like, who are you to judge me and what I do about Black Lives Matter, which is a statement me and everybody else agrees with? What, because we don't post black squares on our Facebook pages and go to protests with signs and put like a logo around our picture on Instagram? Are you seriously, that's how we're judging how much you support Black lives? Do you know in North Korea, if one of the government officials dies, you're supposed to cry louder than your neighbor, and whoever's crying louder doesn't get killed. Okay, we don't live in that kind of country. We live in a country that you don't have to do things like that. So you're telling me that I have to talk about it, and I have to talk about it in the way that you expect me to talk about it. Again, slippery slope. What if I post a square, but then the next day I post a video, and somewhere 5 minutes in the video is like, hey, where's all the money going for Black Lives Matter? And then you cut that piece of that video out and you say, no, but you hate black people. You know, you don't agree with Black Lives Matter. Like, what are you talking about? Their minds automatically default that this person is out to harm others and has bad intentions without further looking into the facts. And that's what's going on with this entire movement. That's what's going on with every single Trump hater out there. They defaulted to not liking him because they didn't look deeper into the facts. I don't know if it's our culture of quick information and headlines that made us be like this. I don't know if it's certain people's upbringing and they weren't taught to value the search for knowledge below the surface and to question everything. I don't know if it's that they were treated badly in their childhood and they automatically think people are out to get them and to get others. It might be a combination of all of that. I don't want to tell an entire people group that they need to look into their own selves, but this comes from somewhere. And maybe it's time to look into those things. I don't even want to tell other people what to do. I'm just trying to figure out where this comes from. Why do people feel this way? Why do they think they know anything about anybody else? All right, this person says the art of debate is lost these days. You have to agree with everyone or you can't be friends. I mean, basically, yeah. Yeah. I was friends with this big group of people in Buffalo. I love DJs. I love going to raves and dancing all night. And I knew that they were all Trump haters, okay, except a couple of them. Wouldn't you know, this rolls around. It's all connected to hating Trump. And hating Trump is all connected to having an emotional response to someone that you think is a certain way, although you know nothing or very little about that person except what you see in the media. And then the media paints things a certain way, but you don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And you're not willing to look deeper into anything. And when I say deeper, I mean, my God, just watching an entire speech In 2016, I thought Trump was the biggest asshole. And then you know what I started doing? I started looking at full speeches that he was delivering. And then I was like, oh, he didn't actually mean it that way. I mean, you would be surprised how much things can be taken out of context. Okay, so just pay attention to that the next time you're digesting media. And then think, who owns all of this? For whatever reason right now, everybody in the media hates Trump. And a good way to know who controls something is by looking at the storylines, the narratives they're trying to tell us. And so if you see everybody hating Trump, that should be like a little bell in your head that goes off that says, wait a minute, let me see what the actual story is. We may not know the actual story. I actually think we definitely will not know the actual story with what is going on in like the deep recesses of government and the way that systems are set up. Okay, where like if there's a pyramid, most of us are on the bottom. Okay, but there is a pyramid. In JFK 1991, this movie with Kevin Costner about the JFK assassination, Danny DeVito has a great scene and he says it's a mystery wrapped in an enigma inside of a riddle. Okay, something like that.
Yeah, this is too fucking big for you. You know that? This is who did the president? Who killed Kennedy? Fuck, man! It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. The fucking shooters don't even know. Don't you get it? Fuck, man! I can't keep talking like this.
They cause confusion. We're not meant to know these things. We can look into various conspiracy theories. But what is wrong with that? People, oh my God, I got this death threat. It wasn't a death threat. It was a threat to beat me up from one of my friends that I went cross country with when I first moved back to LA. And she said, "You're a piece of trash conspiracy theorist." I think we need to stop being rude to conspiracy theorists. Think about like the way the mind works. These people want to look into something deeper. And then they pose questions about it. We shouldn't be automatically reacting in our reactionary state, putting them down just because you're a person that doesn't do that. You know, if you don't like it, just shut up about it. Okay, so you're a person that doesn't want to look deeper into something. I actually can't judge you for that. I can't judge you for wanting to vote for Joe Biden. I can't judge you for wanting to go to a protest. You know, when it comes to physically harming somebody, physically harming animals, and I would even venture physically harming property because that harms the people that worked on that property. So that's where I draw the line. But besides those things, I don't have any right to judge you and who you vote for and what you think and what you want to look into. So why are you doing that to us? Okay, let's watch this. This will be fun. This is the same person that wrote all these things about me on Instagram and Facebook, and has been the drag queen for the Veggie Pride Parade for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna turn my volume up. Hope you guys can hear me. Check my mic. Okay. Wait, before I start, there's some words written here that says, I'm trying to understand Trump supporters and white supremacy. Okay? Let's see what somebody trying to understand Trump supporters and white supremacy. Okay, so I have a problem to begin with the statement, I'm trying to understand, the word understand, and then associating one thing, Trump supporter, with white supremacy, okay? So that's like saying, I'm trying to understand people who love dogs and kill kittens, okay? Like, you're associating a thing with a totally separate thing that's awful. White supremacy, we all know, is awful, okay? So you're basically, before I even press play, we are lumped together. So this is going to be good. This is not going to be understanding anything. But let's just give this person the benefit of the doubt and see how they try to understand things.
They want Trump. They want mayhem. They want...
Okay, so we want Trump and we want mayhem. That's what he said. We don't want this. So in this person's mind, we want mayhem. The other side wants order. In our mind, they want mayhem. We want order. Okay, these are two conflicting beliefs. Both sides think they're right. How do we resolve this?
Chaos. And I don't get that, because who would want that? And
He doesn't get that because who would want that? See, that's the way that we feel too. I pulled up this email that I got from somebody, and this says, okay, leftists, this is what this says, leftists control, and I'll kind of put this here, maybe you can see it. Leftists, maybe it's like there, okay. Leftists control the UN, all corporate media, Wall Street, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, academia, Silicon Valley, corporate culture, public schools, corporate law firms, movies, TV, newspapers, and the music industry. That's a belief. We're talking about beliefs here, okay? It's a belief I hold as well because of what I've looked into. If you haven't looked into that belief, then it's going to seem crazy to you, and it will seem like conspiracy theory. I think where we're trying to find neutral ground here is in saying, okay, you have your beliefs, and that's fine, but treat me with respect, and I have my beliefs. Treat me with respect. And either side can choose to pick where they want to get their news from, where they find their sources, because it's confusing now. There's an entire internet out there. Plus, there's people that see information like the people that posted earlier when I was explaining all of that hate mail I got, and that lawyer that said I was discriminating. He took what this person said as truth. So it's really hard to find the truth. I think it's important for people in general to be committed to trying to find it, unless they from whatever reason, don't want to do that. And they should be allowed to just live their lives and not have to feel like they pursued truth. Because there's lots of people I know that like probably roll their eyes when I'm posting things. They don't want to see this stuff. They just want to raise their kids. They want to eat good vegan food. They want to get along with others. They want to have fun. You know, I really like these people. I was friends with some of them in Buffalo. I had a guy I dated that just wanted to bring people together. And it was really hard because I'd always want to fight with people. You know, I recognize this in myself as well. And as I'm doing this video, I'm sort of like seeing ways of being that I have been, that is just like saying, okay, I'm right and you're wrong. And it comes across a certain way. And it's just rude. It's just rude on my part. I don't want to seem like I'm rude to other people because I want everybody to be able to share freely. I really believe strongly in freedom of speech and being able to share what you want. And I don't necessarily, I think there's room for debate on things, but it escalates quickly on social media when we're not around each other. First of all, like I said, we're communicating on these devices that are built on the blood of children in Africa, okay? So these are, technology is a huge elephant in the window because we can't keep going with the way technology has been taking away from the earth. Okay, that's a fact. So we're the society where it's just, I mean, technology is steamrolling ahead with or without us. So we're not changing that anytime soon. But we need to be cognizant of the way we're communicating and how it can get really divisive really quick, especially when we're not face-to-face anymore, especially when we're dealing in a pandemic where we're separated and the only way we have to be around people is in like a Zoom meeting or online on Facebook. That just needs to be like a major thing we all say, okay, this could get ugly fast. We can agree to disagree, but then it seems like we go from 0 to 60 really quick, and that's myself included. Oh my God, I'm calling people the C word, like all these awful things. I know this about myself. I'm feisty. We all have like this makeup to us, like how we deal with, anger. And there's a whole, like, astrology. I'm not saying like believe astrology, but there's some people that are just literally fierier than others. So can't we all just get along?
About like bringing the country together, stopping the fighting, making sure people have their basic needs met, blah 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 blah. I'm like, why aren't people hearing that and gravitating towards that? Why isn't that what people want? Like, please.
It is what people want. Okay? It is what people want.
Want this. They don't want it. They want Trump. They want mayhem.
So we don't want unity, we want Trump. So in your mind, you believe that it's the opposite of unity. That's a fantasy that you've developed in your mind for whatever reason that you're projecting on everybody else.
They want chaos.
We want chaos. Again, an assumption. I wonder if people had critical thinking skills. Like, did they take any courses, preferably in the 90s before social media, from a professor that wasn't like a complete leftist, that was grounded, understood life, had compassion? I mean, I feel like this is part of one of the huge problems with society, is that people are just making all of these assumptions that just aren't true.
I don't get that. Because who would want that?
I don't know.
Then it hit me.
Then it hit him.
We've never dealt with slavery.
No.
Never dealt with it.
No, nobody alive today has dealt with slavery. That's true.
Racism. We don't even know about redlining. We don't even know about redlining.
Actually, I don't know what redlining is. Okay, let's actually look up redlining. Okay, it says redlining. Refuse a loan or insurance to somebody because they live in an area deemed to be poor financial risk. Okay, so it's to refuse a loan or insurance to somebody because they live in an area to be a poor financial risk. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, so an example of redlining: have been involved in the denial of financial services such as banking or insurance, other services such as health care, or even supermarkets have been denied to residents. Okay. That's awful. Okay? We all agree about that. Maggie on the alt-right, Trump-supporting, COVID-denying racist believes that redlining shouldn't happen. Here's what I want to ask. What can we do about it? What can we do about redlining? Okay? I don't work in the financial service. I don't work in insurance. Okay? I don't own a bank. I don't make policies. I don't decide whether I give money to this person over this person. I don't own a supermarket that I would deny services to somebody. Okay? So what do you want me to do to prove to you that I think redlining is awful? So are you saying to me that I need to post something on social media that says redlining shouldn't happen? Do you think that the people that own these banks and insurance companies and make these decisions are going to see my post on social media and just decide to change it? Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want us to do? Honestly, I'm asking the question. Okay, we all agree that that's an awful thing and that shouldn't happen.
Of racism.
Our history of racism.
Especially anti-black racism. I don't think anyone's gonna disagree that they shoulder the brunt of it. And my God, we scapegoat them for everything. And then of course, there's Latino Americans.
We scapegoat them for everything. I haven't scapegoated. I mean, I don't even know. Let's look it up so we're getting all of our... Oh, wait, so scapegoating. Scapegoating, meaning... a person who is blamed for the wrongdoings, mistakes, or fault of others, especially for reasons of expediency. Okay, so blaming others. I don't even know how to debate this.
it's not exclusive, but the racism
racism.
in this country, and specifically slavery, colonialism, the genocide of the indigenous people.
Slavery, colonialism, and the genocide of the indigenous people. They happened. Nobody is saying they didn't. What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? Short of being kind to my neighbor, like the golden rule. I'm not in a position right now to hire anybody, okay? I don't have a company where I hire people. You know what I do have is an event where I get speakers and business owners, and I try to be as diverse as possible in that. So like within my own world, what do you want me to do about this? You know, I don't even want to mention, okay, I went to 3 countries in Africa last year filming about the people there. So I said that publicly online to make a point, and somebody called me out as a narcissist for saying that. Oh, she thinks that just because she went to Africa, she's not racist. Well, everything you say can be skewed by people, so why even say it? Why do I even have to prove to this guy how much I understand history? That it happened and it was bad, and that there's really bad situations for people in the world.
We've never addressed it. Never addressed it. We paved over it. We've smoothed it out.
Okay, so he's talking about the Native Americans, people that were here before we arrived and that we've never addressed it. Okay, how do you want to address it? What do you want to do? Do you want to start a nonprofit? Do you want to cook a meal for somebody, a Native American? Do you want to donate to a cause for Native Americans? Do you want to tutor a black child? Do you want to drive somebody to work? Like, and if you do, like, we live in a free country, you can do that. So do it.
We sanded off the rough edges.
Sanded off the rough edges of addressing what are we talking, like addressing that white settlers came to America and wiped out the Indians? Okay, like go shop on an Indian reservation. I don't know, I'm trying to like think of ideas here for Ben trying to like think of ideas for him so how he can address it. I mean, a video on Facebook is a start. Like I said, I'm glad he has passion and is caring about these people. That's a start. It's just misdirected. It's like almost a full truth, but then it gets distorted in the end because it gets manipulated where you're pointing at other people that don't process the pain of what others have gone through the same way that you process it. We don't, because we're all very different people. Okay? I might take this whole issue of Black Lives Matter and think more. Okay? And that's my prerogative. I could just sit and think. I might take it, as I have, and question the movement. Okay? Question how it was a little manipulative to take a phrase and politicize it, because every donation goes to the Democrats. And it got a little violent, it did. So I took that and used it as a question to throw it out there and see what people think, because I'm a documentary filmmaker and that's what I like to do. I like to talk about things. Okay, that's like the way that my brain works. I like to look into the issues and ask why things happen, follow the money, okay? He isn't minded that way, and he's got a huge heart. You can tell he's got a huge heart. So like, my point is, let me do what I want to do. If I just want to think about it, let me do that. If I want to criticize it, let me do that. Okay? We need more room in our society for criticism. Nothing wrong with critique. It makes people think. It's what free speech is all about. It's not slandering people and calling them names. I mean, even if somebody wanted to do that, it would be awful, and I do not condone that. But who is anybody else? What right do we have to say you're not allowed to say that? This is what that comes down to.
And so now we learn things like, yes, Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims, not the rapacious murderers, but the Pilgrims and the Indians, they weren't from India. They had dinner together, and it was Thanksgiving. By the way, there was no turkey at Thanksgiving. A woman wrote that in an article, and she invented that detail.
I mean, I'm glad he's coming to these realizations. I might have to skip through a little bit of this, though.
We've never addressed our past. We've never confronted who we are.
Okay. We've never addressed our past. We've never confronted who we are. We need to be specific with words because it's the way we communicate and understand each other. So are you talking every single person in America, or are you talking about you? Okay? We can't speak for other people. You don't know that. You don't know how other people have internalized the history of our country, and you don't know what actions they have taken in their everyday lives to reconcile that. You only know you. This is what I'm saying. You only know you. And then half the time it's confusing knowing it yourself. Okay, but in the end, you can't speak we like it's everybody. It's the problem. It's a big problem. It needs to stop.
And dealt with what we've done.
Okay. Again, you don't know how people are dealing with what we've done. Okay? I'm not in the field of changing the way prisons are run. I don't even know any cops, let alone have any influence in how their department operates. If I choose, I can petition. I'm sure there's ways that you can present ideas to different institutions. I'm sure there's people you can find. There's probably legislators you can write to. All of that, yes. And you know what? It's like goes back to you do you, boo. Yes, do that. Please. Take this beautiful, bubbling passion, and it's beautiful. I've seen it in my friends. All the friends that aren't talking to me right now, I know they have it.
Pass the buck. We're like, it wasn't me, it was my ancestors. Yeah, but you know what? Your ancestors left that mess for you to clean up.
Your ancestors left that mess for you to clean up. Okay. Okay, that's your reality. For me to clean up something, I have to have a certain amount of time and resources to do this cleaning up. Okay? So I might dedicate my life toward giving money, making money so I can give it to groups that support Black people. Maybe I'll make movies about it. I'm just trying to think of creative ideas, like how you clean something up, because you know what? Everybody's gonna interpret this in their own way. I just want to point out, I love your passion, but like, how do you expect us to clean this stuff up? Everybody is gonna do it in their own way. Some people are just gonna treat their neighbor like themselves. Good old-fashioned golden rule. And that should be okay. Everyone's life is completely different. We have no idea what people are dealing with on a daily basis. Yes, even people you think you hate, you don't know. You don't know if they have a mom in the hospital, if they're dealing with depression, if their dog just died, if they're not even able to pay their rent or come up with enough food for themselves. I mean, there's a million different circumstances. So we have to give each other the benefit of the doubt when it comes to what they can do to clean it up. I mean, maybe this is my problem I have with social justice warriors, is that they're all over social media showing how they think they're going to clean this up, like marching, posting pictures and logos, and I get it, but like that's your way of doing it. I don't have a problem with you doing it. Just know it's going to be different people's ways.
And your grandparents left that mess for you to clean up. And your parents left that mess for you to clean up. And you're about to leave that mess for the next generation to clean. I'm not putting anything else on millennials. I'm not putting anything else on the next generation.
He's not putting anything else on the next generation. Okay. People are going to interpret that different ways. I personally am not putting anything else on the earth. I made a commitment not to have kids. I don't want to contribute to any more resources or harm to the earth, and humans do that, even if they're vegan. Everywhere you look, like you need gas to get places. You need natural gas and coal to light things up. That's my choice, okay? So can you let me interpret how to not leave something to the next generation? It's going to be different for everybody. Maybe somebody will write a poem. Maybe somebody just doesn't want to do anything at all. That's their fucking prerogative.
My nieces and nephews just grew up with active shooter drills in school. That's normal to them.
Wait, his nieces and nephews just grew up with active what? Ugh.
And dealt with what we've done. We passed the buck. We're like, it wasn't me, that was my ancestors. Yeah, but you know what? Your ancestors left that mess for you to clean up. And your grandparents left that mess for you to clean up. And your parents left that mess for you to clean up. And you're about to leave that mess for the next generation. I'm not putting...
I don't know what kind of power you think I have to clean things up. To clean up like all of history. Okay, when you figure that out, please tell me.
Anything else on millennials? I'm not putting anything else on the next generation. My nieces and nephews just grew up with active shooter drills in school. That's normal.
Active shrews. I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. I want to look it up, but I can't understand it.
When I heard that and I started crying, they looked at me like, why is Uncle Ben crying? That's just normal to them. I'm not putting anything else on them. I'm not going to ask them to fix any more of our problems. I'm taking this on. Racism is my problem to fix.
Racism is your problem to fix. That's what he's saying. This is why I can't communicate with the left. I don't even know how to answer that.
Not the next generations.
Not the next generation.
Was it my fault? No.
Was it his fault? No. He just admits that everybody left this mess for him to clean up, and it's his job to clean it up, and it's not his fault.
Present racism absolutely is my fault. The past, what happened to the past is not my fault. But no one fixed it, so here it is.
But no one fixed it, so here it is. Okay, so what are you going to do? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I want to know if he's going to start a meal plan service for elderly black folk or something, or if he's going to, I don't know, start a soup kitchen, or...
It's my problem to fix. And if I don't do anything to fix it, if I don't own that problem, if I pass the buck, then it was my fault. None of this is my point yet. Here's where I'm going with this. Because we've never dealt with it, because we've never even entertained a conversation about reparations, you realize it's not that we won't vote on reparations, we won't allow that meeting to be had. We won't allow that meeting to be had. So most other, I don't want to pick and choose names here, but most other countries that have done great atrocities against humankind have done something where they make reparations.
Okay, so he's talking about making reparations to black people. So if we do that, we need to figure out which black people, how black do you need to be, and where's the money for that coming from? I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it, because this isn't about me debating a policy that I will literally never be able to enact because I'm not in Senate, Congress, or the president. I don't even know who would pass a law like that, okay? maybe I'll vote for it. But when the vote's up, then I'll vote. So I don't know. Like, is he proposing that we write up like parameters for reparations?
To those people. I mean, we even made some concessions to Native Americans. Some, and fucking bulldozers. We're horrible.
We're horrible.
But here's the thing, I'm still not at my point. My point would have taken 2 minutes to say. Why am I making it take so long? I can't help it, I'm sorry. I could help it with the right medication and therapist. I'm not there yet. This is not helping. We've never dealt with our past. We've never dealt with racism.
We've never dealt with our past. We've never dealt with racism. Okay.
It is so sanitized, the way it's taught to us in the school books. Do you know, I wrote my song, White Privilege, the song parody of White Christmas. I did my research for that. I was 37 years old when I recorded that. I'd never seen a diagram of a slave ship.
Okay, he said he just saw a diagram of a slave ship when he wrote a parody song when he was 37 years old called White Privilege. Okay. I'm glad that you saw a diagram. Okay? Does every single person need to see exactly what you see? Well, if you want to share a diagram of a slave ship, then do that. It's fine. I'll like it. And then I'll know something. So maybe if I'm trying to consult this person on what the best thing they could do, maybe they could start some kind of education sharing about, he says everything with slavery has been sanitized in the school district. Probably so. You know, I don't control the messaging that the kids get. That's somewhere way up in the pyramid that I know nothing about. Okay? I can't rewrite curriculum or books or the way the system works. So he saw this diagram that really affected him and helped him to write a song. Brilliant. And he wrote a song. I think you're doing good.
I didn't know what the triangle passage was. I had to learn that from Wikipedia.
He learned about the triangle passage.
Why was that not in our history books? Why weren't we showing it? And this is a whole...
Okay, so he makes the point, why wasn't that in our history books? Well, maybe you could write a letter to somebody that creates curriculum and request. I don't know how, I don't work in an education system, so I don't know how curriculum gets included or not. But a great point. I mean, probably sharing it on Facebook is a place to start.
A different ball of yarn or ball of worms in a can of wax that I'll get into on a different, like on a podcast episode. But like, all of the textbooks in the United States of America come from Texas. That's where they're printed.
Texas, evil Texas, Trump supporting Texas, the devils of Texas. Okay, I don't know. Oh my God. It's probably a lot of shit that goes into the curriculum, especially if it comes from Texas. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't even say especially. Probably is. I don't know. I don't know this to be true because I don't work in education, and I'm probably not going to have a say in what gets put in the books. Okay? I'm glad you're upset about it and you made a video. Great. You're educating people. Really, I think this is good.
Or printed or decided on or governed or distributed, that they come from Texas.
They come from Texas.
And the local Texas government, the state government there, is who gets to say what's taught in our history.
Okay, so the local state government of Texas gets to say what is taught in our history. Okay, this is good activism. Okay? This is good activism because I'm learning something. I didn't know that. I'm really glad I know that. Now, this is also an example of if we all get along, if this person isn't, spewing hatred for me over the internet, maybe I'd watch his videos and I would learn something. But when somebody's hateful to you, you usually block them. We remain friends. So I still have hope that we'll make up someday. But overall, like, that's the way we deal with it. So when we spew hate at people, people are just like, they want their peace. You know, it's hard to find peace in the world. So you just like block people or unfriend them. And I would have never known that in Texas, the state government dictates what the kids learn about history.
So, Texas is deciding what the entire country should learn about their history. And when pushed on why don't we talk honestly about our history, not to mention why don't we ever talk about Stonewall. I've never learned about gay rights movement. I've never learned about queer liberation. I've never learned about LGBTQ. Never learned about...
Okay, so he's saying that because the legislation comes from Texas, he's never learned about gay rights movement. Okay, so the schools aren't teaching the kids the right things. People on the other side probably feel the same way too. We probably feel like a lot has been left out historically. It's been angled a certain way for whatever side wants to tell the story. Yes, that happens. I can't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
But that in history, we had an uprising. That wasn't me losing my train of thought. That was me like seeing a tangent, and I'm like, don't go on the tangent. This is me losing my train of thought. So, we've never even been told our true history in full detail in living color.
We've never been told our true history in full detail in living color. Okay. There's a lot of history out there. I mean, there's a lot of countries, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of stories. I mean, I'm looking out my door and there's a story in the town that I live in. And then there's major stories going on, and there's all these intersecting stories that are happening. So I get it that he's wanting us to learn more of the story, but I'm still trying to understand how we can incorporate that better. And it seems like this is a passion of his, and he should get involved in education. I think that's a good way to go.
We've never even been told our true history in full detail in living color. We don't even know our history. We just know it's bad.
Okay, so we've never been told our history, we just know it's bad. I agree with you. I was explaining earlier how we're all pen drives, and we absorb information based on where we grew up, what our parents told us, what people, surrounding us, teachers, whether we went to church or not, which school we went to, did we have the internet growing up or didn't we, what country were we in. It's really hard to understand our history. And even if we get some history, it's going to be skewed a little bit. It's like there's no way to find out exactly what happened. There's also millions, billions of storylines and intersecting narratives going on at all times, and they have, like, since the beginning of time. I admire that this person wants to know all of history. I just don't know, without being like a robot and downloading all of history of all beings of all time, how we're going to do that. Okay, if you want it to be not coming from Texas, if you want to include X, Y, and Z, that's fair, but just like watch your words a little bit, okay? Because just to say like we need to know all of history, it's like, well, what do you mean by that? I know he's just doing an off-the-cuff video, and I respect that.
And we know we don't want to look. It's just like when I first moved.
We know we don't want to look. How do you know that? How do you know what other people are Googling at night? Just because we're not making videos of us being emotionally charged about something doesn't mean that we want to know about our history.
To New York, and I worked at a seafood restaurant that had one of those lobster tanks up front. First thing I thought is like, I was not vegan yet. No one's on. And I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like sentence these lobsters to death. Like, they're alive when I come into work, and then someone's gonna pick one, and I'm gonna have to press a button that sends that lobster into a scalding hot steam bath.
Awful.
He's gonna die. And so very quickly, because I needed the job, I made this like mental twist where I'm like, so I'm like the executioner. Every day I get to sentence one of these lobsters to death. I made a joke of it because I couldn't handle it. Had to make it something I could laugh at. I had to make it a cartoon. I had to make light of it so it wouldn't eat at me.
Okay, so he's talking about working in a seafood restaurant and having to trick his brain into thinking that it wasn't that big of a deal, or it was even a fun act to kill a lobster, because at his heart of hearts it was so upsetting that he couldn't even deal with it if he let his full emotions sort of flow through about the situation. I really understand that, and I feel for you. That's a super upsetting situation to be in. I grew up where my parents chopped the heads off our chickens when I was 14 years old on a farm, and I saw them run around with their heads cut off, and I ran upstairs and put my shades down and put my Walkman on, and I had to lose myself in the music, because lose yourself. I just thought of that. You never get one shot. Is that lose yourself in the music? I don't know. That was stupid. Anyway, I had to lose myself in the music in order to deal with. So we all have coping mechanisms of ways to deal with really, really sad, awful things that happen to those we love around us. And in this case, I understand this. Even those lobsters. Vegans, we love all living things. Except people. I'm just joking.
This is what we're seeing with Trump supporters.
Okay, so he says, whew, I gotta unpack this one. Whew, he says, this is what we're dealing with Trump supporters. Okay, so I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna bridge the lobster story into how this is similar to dealing with Trump supporters. Oh my God. How long is this video? I'm sorry. I want to bang my head on this table.
Where did this all come from? I'm sharing on my Instagram Live today. I'm sharing other Instagram Live videos, compilations of like brutality against protesters.
Okay, so he's sharing compilations of brutality against protesters. Okay, let's create a situation where brutality otherwise wouldn't have happened, but then it's happening because of the situation that was created and then reposted as brutality.
I don't know where it was. There was a truck, a big truck that drove through a crowd of protesters. I don't know how it didn't run her over.
Okay, there was a big truck that drove through protesters, and it was really upsetting.
Can't tell the speed, but it was still going fast, and the woman was in front of it, pinned up against it, still managing to run her legs along the road. Otherwise, she would have just been flattened. They were willing to drive over people.
They, meaning all Trump supporters, show up at riots and try to run over people, or maybe it was just that individual person that did that.
They were willing to drive over fellow Americans.
Trump supporters, all of them, were willing to drive over fellow Americans.
Who are essentially doing the same thing, exercising the same right that fucking anti-mask, you fucking know who you are, you people, I swear to God.
Okay, so that are exercising the same... I'm sorry. Oh my God. They're exercising the same right. The people that are going to drive these people over, the same right of people not to wear a mask.
These COVID hoax truther, I won't wear my mask, I can't breathe.
So now he is connecting the person that tried to run over the protesters with the people that don't wear their masks. and they're COVID deniers, like me. I'm not a COVID denier. I questioned the lockdown and our rights of free speech and to assemble. And the fact that we were born into an economy that going to a job and making money is the only way to eat and have rent. So when that's ripped out suddenly underneath you, that people are going to be upset. And it's not just because they want a haircut or they want to kill grandma, but it's because they want to live.
The same protests they had, they're protesting having to wear masks, and they're showing up with assault rifles.
Okay, so he saw a picture somewhere where people had assault rifles that were showing up without masks. I don't know where that was. It was probably a picture on CNN somewhere. Not saying it didn't happen, but did it happen everywhere? Did everyone show up without masks that were protesting to open the state? And did they all have assault rifles? Or was it just like a certain city? Because like mathematically, not all people do all things in all places.
We're protesting black and brown people being killed, and we're being shot in the head for showing up.
We're protesting black and brown people being killed versus other people protesting masks, without masks and assault rifles. Okay, so nobody is saying that we don't have the right to assemble in the United States. So I'm happy that I live in a country that allows people to assemble. Okay? You went out there for your cause. Those other people went out there for their cause. Some people like to protest, some don't. Some blast it all over social media, some don't. Okay? Again, you did that. Good for you.
And we're being shot in the head for showing up.
Okay, being shot in the head for showing up should not happen, and I think we all agree on that.
And these people want to come and antagonize us while that's
And these people want to come in and antagonize us. I don't know who those people are or what happened.
happening. So there's white supremacists.
Okay, so there's white supremacists. I want to know who these white supremacists are, actually, because he called me one. So if you call me one, there's probably like a lot of them out there, and I want to know the types of things they're doing that you deem white supremacy.
Driving over protesters.
Driving definitely shouldn't have driven over protesters. I do not condone that. It's against the law, and it's violent. I don't know if that was a white supremacist in there because I don't know who that was in that car. I hope that they were charged to the full extent of the law, and we probably all agree with you.
To my knowledge, it didn't look like anyone was killed. I don't know how that happened.
I'm really happy nobody was killed. I think we all agree with you on that.
That's the shit that has me believing in God right there.
That's the shit that has him believing in God. Good. I'm glad that you have something to believe in.
I shouldn't say that, because since someone who did lose someone to an accident, like, oh, was God not looking out for my... It's anyway.
He's sweet.
But, okay, I'm 13 minutes in. I thought this would take 2 minutes. At 13 minutes and 35 seconds, my point is, these people don't want progress.
These people don't want progress. Because he knows what every other person wants. And if you don't vote the way he thinks you should vote, then therefore you don't want progress.
Don't want unity.
We don't want unity. I'm assuming that the people he's talking about are Trump supporters, since that was the original rant. We don't want unity. Not any of us. Not millions of people in all different states with all different experiences. All of us in one big group.
They don't want a strong economy.
We don't want a strong economy? Oh my God. Okay. We don't. This is what Homeboy's telling us. So Trump supporters don't actually want a strong economy now.
They don't want bipartisanship. They don't want united we stand.
We don't want united we stand, and we don't want bipartisanship. Bipartisanship.
One nation under God, indivisible. They don't want.
We don't want one nation under God, indivisible. Okay? They, all millions of people. Are you beginning to understand the thought process behind people that think like this, and how it's dangerous and divisive, and it's weird and creepy to just lump everybody together? We are not doing that. The people that are critically thinking, even if they're kind of pissing you off with their posts, and maybe the timing wasn't great because you're sensitive about something and we didn't think about that, but we're not lumping everybody together. When I talk, I'll say the left, okay? So I guess I'm lumping people when it comes to words I need to say quickly on social media to exemplify people that lump everybody together. The thing is, people that lump everybody together, when it's based on the color of their skin, is the very definition of racism.
Indivisible. They don't want liberty.
We don't want liberty. Millions of people that are Trump supporters don't want liberty.
For all.
For all.
They don't want justice for all.
We don't want justice. No justice. No justice. This person actually believes this about over half of America. If you don't understand how that is a dangerous way of thinking, I mean, I find it kind of comical, but when there's enough people that think this way, that's scary. This is why we have to protect our rights of free speech. These people get in charge and literally think that half of the country don't want any of these things. We don't even want an economy. This is why this is really dangerous, because if rights are taken away from people and these people get in charge, they see us as the actual devil, and the thing is, they believe it. Okay? I don't want to be dramatic or anything, but that's like Nazi Germany stuff. That escalates quickly. With the right leaders in place and the right climate, not climate change, but like the right settings in the world. Like people, maybe there's an economic disaster. We're already headed toward climate disaster, environmental disaster. And then you have people that believe like this in government. A lot, I'm not saying everybody on the left or everybody that sent me hate mail believes like this, but this person does, about all of Trump supporters. And there's a lot of people out there that believe this way about Trump supporters. And it's going to get nasty if we don't do something about it as the election leads up. And then after Trump wins by a landslide, which he probably will, okay, they keep on going like this and lumping everybody together like this and just having this simple-minded, basic thinking. Like, did you get past kindergarten and understand that, like, everybody's different? Everybody has minds of their own. Everybody has varying degrees of views on different things. You can't just demonize a whole group altogether and say, I mean, I'm being a little dramatic here. I know he's just kind of going off the cuff. But I'm saying this kind of thinking is what has us, like, scratching our nails on the wall saying, don't take away our free speech. This is...
They want to be able to kill.
Oh. I gotta pause. I didn't know that was coming. So here I am talking about how dangerous this way of thinking is. And he concludes, they want to be able to kill. Okay? This is why this is dangerous. This is scary. I don't want to get involved in politics, but I'm scared of people like this.
They want to be able to dehumanize black people.
They want to be able to dehumanize black people. That's what this person thinks about Trump supporters. Dehumanize. That is why I critiqued this movement. Okay, I shouldn't lump every single person that's part of the Black Lives Matter group together, but it causes thinking like this because it is aimed at a particular political party, which is the Democrats, okay? And then people start thinking that the other side is the enemy that wants to kill, doesn't want unity, doesn't want an economy, and wants to dehumanize black people. And that's not fucking true.
Brown people.
Brown people.
They want to be able to subjugate the people who they have dehumanized and otherized and feel superior to them.
They want to be able to subjugate the people that they have dehumanized and feel superior to them. That's what this person thinks about Trump supporters.
Because all their life, they've had...
Wait, all their life. So he knows about people's lives and what they've been doing for all their life.
to live with that guilt.
They've had to live with that guilt. Again, he knows what millions of people have had to do all their life.
But it's easy to put that guilt aside because we're never really taught our history.
But it's easy to put that guilt aside. So these people want to kill, but they don't have history, so they don't actually know what's going on.
We're taught, yeah, well, you know, we stole them, we kidnapped them, and then we put them to work, and we
were taught, yeah, we stole them, we kidnapped them, and we put them to work. That's what everybody was taught, and that's how everybody views it. Sure. This guy's fucking pissing me off.
didn't really pay like not.
We didn't really pay. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but you're stupid. Okay? I said it. I was trying to be nice, but you're fucking stupid.
Cash anyway, and it wasn't really on the up and up. But then we set him free. That's what we're basically taught.
With that tone of voice. So all of these killer, people hater, dehumanizing white supremacists that are racist Trump supporters are taught this in school, and we just, fluff it off like we don't fucking care. I mean, what fantasy are you fucking living in?
And so it's very easy to not have to carry that around. It's very easy.
It's easy to not have to carry that around. How do I carry something around? On social media? In my profile picture? What, with a backpack? Do you want me to scribble something on a marker on the back of my t-shirt? What the fuck do you want me to do?
Easy to I'm just not going to deal with that today.
I'm just not going to deal with them today? Deal with who? Deal with what? How? God, I hope some people on your side are fucking smarter than this, because if they're not, you're in trouble. Your entire side is in trouble.
I didn't realize I was going to cut off at 15 minutes. Again, I thought this would take 2 minutes. It's very easy to put those feelings to the side when you've never had to confront them.
Very easy to put these feelings to the side when you've never had to confront them. I don't know if I think he's talking about us, the Trump supporters, these feelings we have.
You've never really had to look at... Okay, I'm an alcoholic in recovery, right? 11 years sober.
11 years sober, okay. Give you props for that. Good job.
When you work the 12 steps, there is a step, the 8th step. You make a inventory. You catalog all of the harms you have ever done to anyone, and then you basically go and make them right. Reparations.
Okay, so he's talking about in the 12-step program, you make right with any individuals that you may have harmed. Okay, I've never taken the 12-step program, but I think that means people that you personally have harmed.
Sense, but at the very least, taking stock of what you did, how it affected that person, and how it affected you, and where you were to blame.
And where you were to blame. Okay, this all sounds really good. I'm digging this. Okay, let's see where he's gonna go with it.
And we've never had to do that in this country.
We've never had to do it in the country. Okay, so we brought something from an individual, personal level, something between an individual and an individual, to every single person in the country, to the other side, to black people. So now he's taking the 12-step program and saying this needs to happen with groups that he's lumping together.
Never really had to okay, let's really pull back the veil and really look at like what did slavery look like. I mean, I watched 12 Years a Slave.
He watched 12 Years a Slave. Okay. We're pulling back the veil now.
Recently. Any movie, I always watch it like 3, 4, 7 years after it comes out. I still can't believe, like when I watch that kind of stuff, I still can't believe, like, no, that wasn't that bad, right? It was like, this, come on, this is like for Hollywood. I mean, this is their, you know, I said Hollywood like I'm 7 years old. Like, there has to be embellishing it. Why wouldn't it be that bad? These are people that they completely dehumanize.
Okay, so I'm going to stop being a brat now. I know Ben pissed me off for a minute. Now I'm back to being nice to Ben again, okay? I want to wipe the smirk off my face, go back to Ben as a nice person who was deeply touched by 12 Years a Slave and the horrors of what happened in slavery. And nobody I know at least, right or left, doesn't think that that was an awful atrocity, okay? So, Ben, you have a big heart. Sorry, I just started calling him by his name. I'm sure it's fine. This is online. So, okay, good. You're watching movies. You're educating yourself about awful atrocities. And we all agree with you. That was awful.
They didn't think that these people were human. Or at least subhuman.
Yeah, that happened. I wasn't there, but it happened. Agreed.
It was so bad that when we're confronted with it, we would want to look away. We don't want to. So anyway, you get my point. These people don't want to have to deal with that.
Okay, us people, don't want to have to deal with that. Please I still haven't heard how we're going to deal with it. I really haven't. I mean, I don't have a lot of power in my life. I don't have a lot of money, and I'm not in any industries where I have a place of power. So I want to know like and then that's just me. I'm one individual of all of these people. So I don't have a notebook thick enough or time in multiple lifetimes to interview every single one of these people that don't want to have to deal with this. All of these millions of Trump supporters.
These people who are voting for Trump want a world where it's okay that they're blatant racist.
We want a world where it's okay that there's blatant racism. Even though Trump himself came out against the George Floyd murder as an utter atrocity. If you actually watch things Trump actually says, he does not want harm to come upon black people. He's got black people that work for him. You know, he worked in the entertainment industry for decades, okay? He had to deal with black people, all right? He's not racist. I don't want to say my truth is your truth because obviously, like, people have truths as we're seeing here, okay?
Okay. By the way, this is a different camera. I'm using it from the other one, same phone, different app. So I think this one's putting like a filter on my face. I'm sorry. This is like my drag app that I use, so I might look a little.
Oh God.
These people want to return. Like, they're talking about Make America Great Again. They're talking about let's go back to the old days where we were allowed to own people.
No! I can't anymore. Can I do this? We want to go back to the old days where people were allowed to own people. Okay? I can't comment on that.
Because we didn't see them as people.
Because we didn't see them as people.
And how much better the economy was for us because we had slave labor.
Oh my God, he's actually saying that Trump supporters want to go back to enslaving people because it was better for the economy back then. I mean, I feel like I'm watching like a Saturday Night Live skit or something.
Garrett, look around. I guarantee you,
Looking around.
if that were being proposed, in the 2020 election, if Trump, oh God, I don't want to give him any ideas. If
He doesn't want to give Trump any ideas for re-enslaving America. Is this real? Do these people even exist? I didn't know it was this bad. I thought it was bad, but I had no idea.
Trump made part of his platform, like, make slavery legal again. That would be the new fucking red hat.
If Trump said make slavery legal again, that would be on his new red hat.
They,
I can't wait.
anyway, my whole point, I'll shut up after this, because suddenly there's a 8 p.m. curfew, and I now have to, like, get this to the UPS, before they close. There's probably going to be a long
I'm
line
sorry.
down the block
I'm
again.
trying not to look like a bitch. I'm nice. I'm nice. For people that hate me, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying to be a good person right now.
I have to stop thinking in terms of, like, why don't they understand that Trump is bad? Why don't they understand?
Why don't we understand that Trump is bad? Because we don't believe that Trump is bad. Because we listen to the things that he says in their entirety. And we have common sense to know that Trump is not going to bring our country back to literal slavery. You're talking crazy. You're talking crazy. You're making even the left people look crazier than they actually are. Like, you're making your side look so batshit crazy that when I encounter somebody that's not you, they're going to seem like they make a lot of sense.
That Trump doesn't have everyone's best interests at heart. Why don't you know what?
No. When you are running a business like the United States of America, and it is a business because that's how it was set up, by no control of anybody, having everyone's best interest at heart all the time and all of them feeling like it's their best interest is literally impossible. You make the decisions that you have to make to do the best that you absolutely can. I mean, do I have to explain to you how business works too?
This is my little child mind, like little orphan Annie,
Child mind.
Pollyanna here, always so stupidly, fatally optimistic. And I ultimately think that underneath it all, what everyone wants a solution that has everyone happy in the end. Even if that means in their mind, like, yeah, you'll be happy to work for minimum wage at McDonald's. But in their mind, they're like, see, you've made that work because you pulled yourself up by those bootstraps. Remember, good thing we told you about By the way, the expression, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, literally, like, negates itself because it's the expression was used because it's something you can't do. It doesn't mean pulling your boots on. It means, like, if I can't levitate by pulling the straps of my boot up. That's what that means. But in my mind, that is what I think everyone wants, and I'm realizing now how out
Everyone
of touch
wants happiness. You know, I think that's why. I was going to say that's why parents have kids, but I don't know that to be true. I would agree with you. I would agree with you that people want happiness. Yeah.
I am. That, like, not everyone wants a world that works for everyone. Not everyone wants a world where everyone wins.
I don't think anybody wants a world where everyone works for everyone. People probably, by human nature, want to win so they can survive. Some people believe in that somebody can win at the expense of somebody else losing, and some people want to have a win-win situation, and that's called game theory. So there are different philosophies out there as to is somebody losing if you're winning, or can you both win together? And that's nice. That's a nice topic to bring up.
I mean, my God, I can't watch violence in movies.
Me
even
either.
if it's like
Me either.
joking,
Aw.
like Kill Bill, I
Ben,
could
I
kind
can't.
of tolerate because it was so unrealistic that it was like tolerable, I guess, because it was like comical.
I love you,
But like,
Ben.
I cannot watch someone having. I can't watch someone like, please no, I don't want to die, and then the
true,
killer's
I
like,
hate
no,
violence.
I'm gonna
Just on that note, yeah, violence in movies goes to your subconscious, so I agree with him. I hate it. I won't watch it.
I'm going to decide when your life ends, and it's now, and tomorrow we'll all wake up, but you won't be here anymore, and the next 80 years you could have lived, well, that won't ever happen. That freaks me out, the idea that a person can take another person's life.
Yeah, it's bad.
But there sure are a lot of people who love the movie Scarface. There sure are a lot of people who love the movie
Probably Trump
300.
supporters.
I didn't see 300. Shocking for a gay man, I know. By the way, apparently in 300, like, the protagonists in that movie are actually historically the antagonists. Colonialism.
Ben,
Um,
come on.
but my God, this kind of violence, and this kind of domination, and this kind of, like, I don't know what else to call it other than, like, king-ing, royal-ing,
Kinging, roiling,
subjugating
subjugating
of people.
of people.
Like, bow down, bitches. Yeah,
Bow down.
don't know.
Bow down, bitches? Is that what Trump supporters are saying to the left? I think you have that a little backwards.
Drag and Beyonce, but like, it's everywhere. Can you see? It's everywhere in our culture.
It's everywhere.
Like, oh God. Don't say this, Ben. Don't say this, Ben. Don't say this, Ben.
Please, please.
I am someone who does not understand rap. I'll start by saying that.
Okay. Oh.
And I'm starting to understand that. But because I don't have any running start, I've never really let myself get into it. It just sounds very, I'm like, well, that's not Maria Callas. This is in fucking every music genre. I mean, my God, I even drag opera here. But that whole, like, bragging about, like, yeah, I'm so fucking great, and, like, all of you are gonna be at my feet. That idea is, like, that idea doesn't appeal to me. When I hear that in music, I'm like, I don't want the responsibility. But there's people who, they fucking jack off to that. I mean, there's people who are like, yeah, I want to
People like power? Is that what he's saying? They listen to rap music, or rap music reflects that there's some people that like power. I give you props, Ben, that you're not that kind of person.
be, like, king of the world. I've never resonated with that kind of thinking, like, king of the world. I'm like, like, I don't want the main people knowing me. Accent. But, and listen, I am sitting here pretending that I know what these people are thinking, and
Wait, what did he say? Wait, is this video a spoof that actually speaks sense in the end? Were you just like leading me up this path, me thinking that you're lumping all Trump supporters together as the devil, but now you're admitting that you're pretending you know what other people are thinking. Okay, let's see how this goes.
pretending I know what's in their hearts, okay? That's
Pretending he knows what's in their hearts. Okay, I agree with that. That's what you're doing.
insanity.
That's insanity, he said. That's insanity. Okay. Huh. We might get along after all.
Realize that. This is the best I can guess. And I'm guessing this based on their...
Okay, it's the best he can guess, and he's guessing it based on their actions. Okay, so the actions of 1 million people. I don't know if you know what the actions of 1 million people are, but maybe like the 4 Trump supporters you have around you on social media that you've never talked to in everyday life and you demonize and try to ruin their lives. He probably really knows those people.
actions. I'm guessing this based on what possesses a person to get in a truck and try to
What?
kill.
Wait, what? Oh my God. So he's realizing he's pretending he knows what all these people think, but he's basing it on their actions, based on their actions, which is one person getting in a truck and trying to run over some protesters. Okay, so millions of people are the type of people that would run somebody over and want to kill. That's where he got that line before when he said they want to kill. Okay, now I'm understanding the neuron receptors in Ben's brain a little bit and how he puts information together.
Several people, and like a woman. I can only guess, okay? So I apologize if I'm not like Freudian brain surgery here. But like I can only guess if these people worship the idea of dominating other people.
He can only guess these people worship the idea of dominating other people. At least he said guess. He can only guess. So he is now admitting he pretends to think things about people based on their actions, based on the actions of one person. And that he can only guess. Okay, so he's admitting to pretending and guessing. Okay, this is a start.
I'm not trying to be some like talk show or whatever. I'm not trying, but like, I'm just feeling right now like maybe just talking to the camera directly and putting these things on Instagram through like this video thing is more shareable, and it's easier to like. I think you can get where I'm coming from easier than when you're just reading it on a screen. Because listen, I'll admit it too. When I'm reading anything you write on the screen, I'm kind of like, and I'm just like, I've already made up my mind how you feel based on how I want to think that you're, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, he's so self-aware. He's already made up his mind what he thinks you feel based on what he wants. Wait, I want to hear this again because he said he's admitted to some things, and I think that this is progress. This is progress. Let's hear that again.
Like this video thing is more shareable, and it's easier to like. I think you can get where I'm coming from easier than when you're just reading it on a screen. Because listen, I'll admit it too. When I'm reading anything you write on the screen, I'm kind of like, and I'm just like, I've already made up my mind how you feel based on how I want to think that you're, you know what I mean?
Okay, he already has made up his mind how he thinks that we feel. Okay.
That's why I always think. My mom once said, she's like, Ben, there's a time where you put down the email, you put down the texts, you put down the Facebook, and you pick up the phone and you talk to someone.
Oh yes.
And I've always realized, like, that's always how the things always go much more smoothly.
Oh my God, Ben! Before you slandered my name on the entire internet to every single animal rights group leader person that you know, you think solving things by a phone call because that's your character is one that really cares about conversations. Yeah, sure, Ben.
Than when I do it by phone or text.
But if you say things really dramatically and with a lot of passion, and then people really feel like they're on your side. But he really feels strongly that you call people, because that's what his mom said, and that's what he did for me. Yeah.
I mean, phone. Strike that. When I do it by text or email or whatever. So maybe I'll do another one of these, because I need to meditate on this. I need to think on this. I can't, and you know what? Like that sort of like points to the whole idea of tribalism. Like these people aren't holding to their opinion because they believe it's right. They're holding to this opinion because that's what everyone is doing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. They're holding to their opinion not because they think it's right, but that's what everyone is doing. Please, Ben, tell me who else is putting themselves out there as a non-leftist and, God forbid, a Trump supporter, only to have their name completely ruined and run through the mud on Instagram and Facebook with screenshots of their business. People looking into their tax filing status so they can go to the New York City government and get this vegan event shut down because she supports racism. I mean, and anti-Semitism, because I said George Soros is probably involved with Black Lives Matter. Do you think I'm an expert on all of that? No, but maybe I made a question somewhere and all of a sudden I'm anti-Semitic because they've taken this kind of logic. I mean, if you're wondering about the brain of a person on the left, you've got it here. I think psychologists need to use this as a case study to understand how we can reverse brainwash these people so they don't ruin our country and the whole fucking world.
To this opinion because everyone around them has arrived at this.
Everyone around them? There's nobody else. It's called the silent majority for a reason because you guys don't want us to talk because you publicly shame us. You come after our kids. You come after our places of business. This is not like the popular discussion out here. We're not in the vocal majority right now. Do you have eyes?
Everyone's kind of inherited this viewpoint.
We've inherited this viewpoint. Oh, yes. Okay. So now we've inherited, just like we inherited racism.
That's, we're pack animals.
We're pack animals. Oh my God, we're pack animals. Who is running with the fucking pack? Who's running with the pack? Which side?
Can you imagine a person living in a MAGA area suddenly being like, you know what? Fuck Trump. I am voting blue no matter.
Oh my God, a person living in a MAGA area that says, fuck Trump, I'm gonna vote blue. Yeah, they'll probably get harassed, just like you harassed me. Sure. You speak out of both sides of your mouth. You fucking tried to destroy my career and my life and my reputation. Fuck you.
Can you imagine
Can you imagine
how they would be dealt with?
how they would be dealt with?
It's funny to me as I'm saying.
Oh,
that,
we'll probably screenshot things that they've said and put them all over the fucking internet.
talking about like my fellow Americans, but even in the way we're talking about each other, like if you're out there and if you're listening to me and you're one of these MAGA people I'm talking about, like I want you to know that like it also is weird to me that I'm talking about you like I know you.
Yeah, you think? You think it's weird that you're talking about us like you know us? Are we doing that to you? No, you just don't like what the things we say, the things we post. You want to shut us up.
Talking about you like I understand, and like you are to me a hypothetical you. Like I'm inventing a you.
Oh my God, so he said he's pretended, he's imagined. Wait, what were the words? He's pretending, I think it was imagine, I might be wrong on the word, and now he's created a hypothetical you, but not only a hypothetical you, a hypothetical everybody.
In my head, and I'm relating to that as if that's who you are.
I swear, somebody who's a psychologist needs to dissect this and write a book. The left brain, the brain on leftism. I'm giving you gold right now. Okay, so he's openly admitting that he's created a fantasy space in his head about who he thinks these people are.
It is so like when growing up, I come from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the most racially segregated city in America out of 19,600 plus cities in the U.S. I love statistics so much. I became one. Milwaukee's very segregated. You hear so many people talking about all these welfare queens just, having all these kids just so they can get more money and not working. And I'm just like, well, what's her name? Huh?
Oh, he wants to treat people like individuals because they have individual stories and lives and circumstances for why they are the way they are and need the things that they need. Yes, that is true. He really goes between saying these deep truths and complete craziness. It really is. I wonder if it is a biological switching, something didn't go here, but it was supposed to be wired here, but then it got wired here. I wonder if it's I don't know where that would come from. Is it, I want to say 5G. Isn't that funny? And I want to say fluoride, that some people just maybe aren't susceptible to it, but that's crazy. I'm just joking.
Sounds like she's really going through a hard time. Well,
yeah.
Where does she live? There's not a person. They're not talking about a person. They're talking about a composite. They're talking about a fictional character.
Talking about a fictional character. Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to the people that you're talking about?
The 8 o'clock news, whatever o'clock, invented for them. And they're relating to that.
So the 8 o'clock news, so probably Fox News, just lumped all of these people together like they're just one situation. Okay, that's fair. People do that. I think people do that. People do that on the right side about people on the left. I give you that. I'm not one of them. I don't know who else is one of them, at least right now. I think that things have changed a lot over the years. This may have been the case in the past, more so with the Republican Party doing that to the left. And it could very well go that way again. And I don't know what other people's situations are. So I agree with you that lumping people together on either side and not taking them as an individual situation is not helpful. And it's not fair to the person. So agreed there.
Hypothetical character, as if that's who black women are. And so I do realize that I'm taking part in that, but this is only because I'm trying to actually guess based on actual behavior I'm seeing. And yes, I'm seeing it through social media, to be fair.
Okay, oh my God. Ben, sometimes I love you. Yes. Why do I love him so much in the end? Yes, he said he's trying to lump people together, come up with a hypothetical person, and he's doing it through social media. He's really good at admitting things. I mean, I think he's got a lot of potential.
I might completely evolve in my views, but I won't abandon them, because if I take off this red hat in a sea of red hats and I put on a blue one, I'm going to get run over by the truck.
Wow. Okay, so he said if I take off this red hat in a sea of blue... No, wait. If I take off this red hat in a sea of red hats, I might get run over by that truck. Okay. I gotta think about this one for a second, because my reaction is, Ben, it's not gonna happen. But he saw that truck go into the protesters, and that's how he views Trump supporters. So he's got a legitimate fear of Trump supporters. So who am I to say that his fear is not valid? Even though I think that it's rational. I think that truck driving into the protesters was had a lot of things situationally going on. And I don't even really know what this means, actually, because it shows me that he has fear of Trump supporters. And it made me think, actually, of people's fears. Actually, I will apologize for this. I'm going to apologize for something. I was thinking about black people, and that some black people have a legitimate fear of going outside and getting shot by the cops when they're not armed, because it has happened to other people. It's happened to other black people. Now, okay, if I post a statistic saying, okay, so you have me on the other side, white girl, white supremacist, racist girl. I'm joking, but you have me on the other side saying, well, you know, statistically, there's more black on black crime, and per the numbers, white on or black on white crime is also up there with cops. Like I'm over here like an annoying bitch, okay, posting my little facts that I think are the truth, okay? And somebody sees this meme. Who knows if memes are even true anyway, okay? So, but somebody sees this meme that I've posted asking a question about the statistics, and they get triggered because they have this fear. And, you know, if nothing else, that makes me look like a real asshole and not nice and a little bit rude and a little bit insensitive. So I will apologize that my posts may have appeared insensitive and rude for people on the other side that have a legitimate fear, even though I feel that the fear is probably not as legitimate as they think it is, because these are very, very specific examples and low in probability based on the amount of people that there are in the world, and the fact that those were specific incidents and they were awful. None of us think they're okay. Okay? But the fact that they happened at all was wrong. But there's a fear that developed, okay? And I recognize that. I mean, this is a tough one because people have fears and you can't tell them it's not okay to have it. So I'm sorry if I came off as an asshole. I apologize for that. Okay. 48 seconds.
It's a bit dramatic, but you get what I get the point.
A bit dramatic? But I get the point? Okay. Oh my God. Ben, I'm confused now because I thought that you were actually worried about somebody running you over. You just said if you're a blue hat in a sea of red hats, you're afraid they're going to run you over. I don't know. And that was... What does that actually mean? Like, so I'll stand with the apology, but I don't know if, like, you're physically not scared for your life around Trump supporters, then you just are fearful of what? Like, what are we gonna do? besides all the things you think we think, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm just going to finish this video because we are close.
So that is what I have to think on. I have to think on that,
Okay.
and I would love to find an answer to the question, how do you speak to that?
Oh my, how do I speak to that? I don't know what that is, but I know how you speak to a Trump supporter if you're actually trying to create dialogue, and it is not by screenshotting their posts, writing awful things about them, calling them racist, and posting it online for everybody in their community to see so everybody can come at you and try to ruin your career. But, I mean, who am I to say what you should be doing? I put that stuff out publicly. So you can really, it's a free speech country. You can do whatever you want with it. So be it. I don't think it's productive for anybody, but
And not for the sake of getting them to not vote for Trump. I mean, how do you speak to that person?
how do you speak to that person? Okay. I don't know. You know, you don't speak to them the way I just said. You don't speak to them. You don't. Who's speaking to us? Who wants to actually talk? I don't know. I haven't found them. I've gotten a lot of hate mail. I've gotten told I should, someone should stand on my neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I've been told from friends of years that I'm disgusting. I'm somebody that should be ashamed, but I don't know that anybody's actually talking to us and asking us why we feel the way we do. So it seems like it's a one-sided conversation right now, and that's the problem.
You reach them? How do you find out who they are? What matters to them?
How do you find out who they are and what matters to them? Well, Ben, you probably fucking talk to them, okay? Sorry to swear, but you talk to them. Fucking call me if you're pissed at my posts, okay? Call me. Has anyone called me? Yeah, there's been a few people. But ask me if you really want to create a dialogue. But I don't believe that you want to create a dialogue, okay? I actually am not buying it. But I don't know. I don't know, because it's your reality. Maybe you do. Maybe this is just like a weird way of asking for a dialogue, but then I bring it up and you're not going to want to dialogue with me. So
They're dealing with. Unless you know that, unless you can reach through and touch their humanity, there's no
Yeah.
progress to be made. Other than that,
Unless
it's
you
not
can
that. It's all
touch-
just a tribal argument.
okay, unless you can reach through and speak to their humanity. I don't know what the hell that means. I really don't. That it's just a tribal thing.
So to be continued.
To be
I'd
continued.
love. I would love to
Hear
report
from-
back
Hear from Trump supporters? You'd love to have a conversation with the Trump supporter?
once I've thought on that and I have some insight. All right. Sorry, this is at 30 minutes.
Okay. Okay, Ben.
So if you need any other examples that we live in
Okay. Oh boy. Alrighty, well, there was that. You just heard me respond to this person, Ben, who tried to destroy my career online and who is a member of the animal rights community. I hope that moving forward, the two sides are able to talk to each other. I don't know what's going to happen, actually, because everybody has formed allegiances with their political party at this point, and the left is basically inside every major organization of animal rights. I mean, I read you a list before. I think the left is pretty much everywhere, and I find them divisive. And like what Ben was saying, I don't think that they want to bring unity. I think they want to bring division. But that's, again, my reality. It's not going to be yours. It's not going to be every single one of yours. But I wanted to show you something I just saw. Let me go there. Animal Rights National Conference. See, this is kind of the problem. So the Animal Rights National Conference, love this. I've gone every single year. And then they post something like this, okay? The Animal Rights National Conference stands against racism, white supremacy, and injustice in all forms. Okay, here's where this gets divisive. This is an event. It's the longest standing national animal rights event in the US. So every other year, it's in Washington one year, it's in LA the next. And I've gone for many years. So they post this from their official Facebook page. I agree with this. I agree with this statement. We stand against racist white supremacy and injustice in all forms. But here's the problem. People like Ben, that we were just talking with in his video, and others that I've received hate mail from, think that I'm a white supremacist and I'm a racist. So by the very nature of an organization posting a message like this that everybody agrees with, everybody agrees with this, we get it, but it's used as a political divisive tool now to separate us. So like I bet you any money, if I tried to go to this event now, I would be run out. I don't even think I'd be welcome, because this Ben person has already blasted my name everywhere. It's not that I want to go to this event, but this happens all the time. It happens at Veg Fests with speakers. I know that George Martin, who was with Anonymous for the Voiceless and just lost his job, he wasn't allowed to speak at a Veg Fest because somebody thought that he was a sexist, or he said something that somebody didn't agree with. And this is what I'm saying, like, we need to keep politics out of animal rights, because I agree with this, but people are going to think, people like Ben, that automatically think others are trying to harm them and don't give them the benefit of the doubt and hate Trump supporters, are creating a division where Trump supporters, this isn't like a Trump supporter event, even though Trump supporters stand by the statement, we don't believe with racism, we don't believe with white supremacy, and we don't believe with injustice to anyone. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. But if you give to, when a statement becomes a political party in a way, almost a religion, an organized group that is taking donations from God knows where and God knows how much, and that all go to one side of one political party. It says that right on the website. It's like a blue somebody. It's going to. It's like a donation to the Democratic National Party. It's become political, something that we all agree with, and it's become being able to be used as a tool for people to say, no, you don't believe that Black Lives Matter because you're speaking up against this. No, but we're not. We're questioning the organized group that funnels into one half of the political party, and that by nature is dividing us. And I don't know how to solve it. I'd like to say like social justice warriors and people that are hateful get out of our movement, but I don't think that is possible because they think I'm the hateful one. So we're still like stuck in this loop. I don't know how to fix it. Hopefully this video made you think or made you mad. I don't know. I don't want it to make you mad. I just hope that it did something to your mind. I guess that's what videos are supposed to do. So thanks for listening. I'll be posting more, and I hope you have a good day. Okay, bye.